Now, as always, we are going to be now talking about some movie news that happened this week. So
what are we going to be talking about?
We got quite a few things that happened this week. First off, this is the week of, today is what, Sunday, April 7th, I believe.
As of recording.
As of recording.
As of recording, yes.
So Captain Marvel came out a couple weeks back, and this week, on Tuesday, April 2nd, it crossed $1 billion globally in the theaters. Mm-hmm. $358 million of that was made domestically here in the U.S., and the rest of it was made overseas. I think it's pretty impressive that this movie crossed the $1 billion mark, but also that most of its money was made internationally. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you guys think about that? You think because here in America we're always talking about, women's rights, and we really wanted that first female lead for Marvel here in America. Everybody kept talking about it, and that was a big deal with Captain Marvel because she was the first female lead. Yet it didn't make as much money here as it did overseas. Do you think that had anything to do with this?
Are you talking about internationally or just domestic?
Domestically, mainly. I'm surprised the numbers are not higher domestically.
I think it might be because of the reception that came out before that Friday, because the reviews are saying that it's all right, but it's not that great of a movie, so it's like that probably tempered the expectations for the U.S. audience or the North American audience. There's also the fact that it is a prequel, and by virtue of that, like, prequels aren't considered as important. They're kind of important to explain some details about, like.
I think they're important once you have the first movie based on that character. There's Prometheus, right? But no one would have cared about Prometheus unless you saw, like, Alien 1, Alien 2. I don't care about the other ones, but Alien 1 and 2, really. Then you care about, what's the origin story of this? That's where prequel stories really play. Once you know the story, then, the prequel is really good.
I think I get where you're talking about, but I think on that note, that's probably what really hasn't moved the needle for Captain Marvel domestically, because we're just kind of used to origin stories at this point. We kind of know how they played out.
This is the 21st Marvel film, and a good majority of those were origin stories.
Yeah.
Well, I also think it plays the role of the fact that we have Endgame coming up soon.
That's also the other thing.
People are so hyped about Endgame that Captain Marvel, even though it had a leading female role, it was a new story that we didn't really see put on the big screen. This film kind of took the back seat.
You got a good point there. I didn't even really think about that. Everybody's still talking about Endgame.
I think that's why international box office sales are the way they are. That's why they're that big, because a lot of people just want to know, like, who the fuck is she and why is she so important to Avengers?
Right.
Especially since she was, like, the last person Nick Fury called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but also the fact that in some countries you don't see, women in this country have more rights than a lot of other countries. So you may see the international side is like, we don't get a lot of movies with leading female roles.
That's a good point, because that was one of the things I was thinking about. It's because they don't have as many rights in other countries that really took me by surprise when I was looking at the numbers that it made internationally.
Yeah.
And it could be, as you're just saying, like, because of the fact that they don't have very many movies of that material. It's still new.
I think also we have to look at the fact of how many years have we been seeing a Marvel film come out every year?
Oh, gosh.
What is it?
At least 2 per year.
2 per year, right? So the audience is kind of getting to the point like, yay. It's not like yay anymore. It's yay.
I think it's going to burn
another
out
standalone film. It's kind of, I forgot who mentioned it, but someone said it was kind of like back in the day you had all the army films coming out year after year after year, all the Western films coming year after year after year. And I kept saying, I said, now we have all the superhero movies coming after year after year after year. It's going to die off. Endgame is where Marvel, I feel like, is saying, this is it, right? Unless you are going to have this
I don't
whole
know if-
Captain
I don't know if they're
Marvel
gonna say
thing.
this because
Marvel's
you've got
never
s-
gonna say
you've
it.
got
They're gonna take a
Spider-Man.
break. You're gonna take a break though. Eventually, you got to take a break, or you're gonna burn out your audience.
Nope.
It's-
Because they got Spider-Man coming later this year, and they're slowly trying to make Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, they're
a
still
thing.
working on that. At least they got James Gunn
But it's
signed back
my
on.
thing
Yeah.
is it's not gonna last.
I think
20
it's gonna
years.
burst. I think it's gonna burst after.
It's not gonna be
Endgame.
20. They're not gonna be putting 20 years out. I mean, heck, they're releasing all of the early Batman movies back into theaters. I just read today.
You talking like 89?
Yeah, they're all coming back in.
Those movies aren't that good. Like, I mean, they're
89
Careful,
was good.
Batman was a
Ba-
masterpiece.
Batman
And maybe,
89.
like, the-
they're good movies. They're not good Batman movies.
Batman was good. Out of
I'll
those,
give you Batman's better.
I mean,
Like, this is tough for me to say because I like those movies. I don't dislike those movies, but like, they're just
You-
not great Batman movies.
You can like give her you can give or take like all the sequels like Batman Returns and stuff like that. But like
Ugh.
Batman 89 is good.
yeah.
Batman 89 is solid.
But at a point, it's gonna stop. You know, it's like right now, they're gonna take a break. You know, it's like Universal is trying to redo all of their Universal classic monster movies.
I don't think that's gonna be.
That's
I
thing
don't-
gonna be terrible.
I don't know how. I did not like The Mummy. I don't know how they're gonna do well with the Invisible Man.
Well, they're not.
They are. It's.
No, I mean they're not going to do well with it.
I hope they don't butcher one of my favorites.
They,
but
they've been struggling with that since the Mummy.
But I
release.
think that's it. I think eventually people are just like, I'm tired. Like, I know how Spider-Man is going to be. I know how Iron Man is. I know how Captain America is. I don't know Captain Marvel. And I think that's the thing. People are tired of learning the origin stories. They just want to stick with the people they know.
I think I'm gonna be a little more cynical about this and say that it's really more just about the anticipation towards Endgame than anything about feminism, regardless of Captain Marvel. Maybe for the U.S., but not internationally.
You're
I'm gonna be
probably
more-
right.
Right.
I'm gonna take the more cynical route for that. And to risk talking about Endgame like too much, I think you're gonna be right in that people are it's definitely gonna level off with all the superhero movies, and I think Endgame, because it's such like everyone's gonna see that for like the highest stakes.
Yeah, it's
Just
going to be
'cause
the peak.
It's gonna be the peak, so everything's at best. I think everything is gonna at best plateau, or probably dip in terms of interest because
We
you
have that
literally-
scene where Doctor Strange looks at Tony Stark and he goes, "We're in the end game
Well-
now." That's the movie. That's the box office.
like you can't
talking
get
to
more
Marvel.
epic than the last two Avengers movies.
No.
At least for a while.
I mean,
and if you try, people are gonna get burned out.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing. There's a reason why these are completely different films. There's a reason why the James Bond film franchise has continued to go on, and they continue to keep an audience, is that they take, I think it's every 2 years, they release a James Bond film. They take 2 years, they get a good script, they get a good director, they get a good they do the whole thing, but they're not releasing one every year. They'll release a Mission Impossible, same thing, every 2 years. I believe it is that you end up releasing, it's just not it's like Call of Duty, right? I know in November Call of Duty's game's going to come out. I know that Star Wars is going to come out.
Well, that's the thing is like we already know they're going to come out and people are going to go see it, but it's like I think you guys are right. I think after Endgame,
I need a break.
it's going down. I mean,
people are gonna
I'm
say,
really
I
going to be
need a break from all
interesting to
this.
see what the numbers for Spider-Man are due to this exact reason because Spider-Man comes out after Endgame.
What's the space? Like, when does it separate?
I think
I think it's like a month or two.
well,
it
here's
might be August.
well.
or
So here's the
something.
thing. Remember the whole
July.
Star Wars issue is that you had the two movies come back essentially a few months separately in the last Star Wars and the
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it was which one
I'm talking about like Solo and
which one
8.
did the work? I'm trying to be
Solo did.
Solo.
Solo, right?
didn't do
People were
Solo.
burnt out. People were like, I just saw Last Jedi, and you just
Well, people also didn't like Last Jedi, so they're just like, "Oh shit,
Peop-
do I really want to
yeah.
go see this other Star Wars
Last
movie?"
Jedi was also like contentious, and on top of that, you had Solo, which a lot of people just weren't interested in the first place. So that also has to do with it.
yeah.
Like,
But remember, before that, the movie before Last Jedi, I can't remember off the top
Force
of my head.
Rogue One.
Force Awakens.
no, Rogue One.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Rogue One,
yeah,
you're right, you're right.
but the thing is when Force Awakens came out, it was I don't know. 10 years, maybe.
It was a long time since the last Star Wars.
Before the last Stars, people were hyped, and then it's like, okay, now we have Rogue One. Cool, yay, that looks great. It's the new stories. Oh, Last Jedi, yay. Solo, yay, right? So you had to keep coming out. It's not as much of a hype, so you're not going to get the ticket sales you
But they're
wanted.
not. Those are also standalones, not building up to this. This is what they've been building up to.
Right, but my whole
forever.
point is that when you have films within the same world come out year after year after year after year, there's no anticipation, there's no hype. I'm excited for Endgame for several reasons. I loved Infinity War.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of hype, let's
yeah.
talk about something else
Let's
that
talk about
people
something
should
that's not
be
Marvel.
excited about, and that would be Shazam. Shazam.
I'm sorry.
is-
What was that?
Shazam.
What was that?
Shazam.
Oh, okay.
Shazam is now in theaters. You should all go see it because we all really enjoyed Shazam. And it opened, too, on the first weekend, opening weekend, about $53 million.
It's now at $53,450,000
Way to get specific, asshole.
as of, yeah. It was last updated at 9:27 a.m.
So
Pacific
it
time
had a pretty decent opening weekend.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
I would argue it's better than
with a $100 million budget.
they're getting
Yeah,
there.
it's already getting there.
Yeah.
But wait,
It's-
does that $53 million include the early screening that they did? Because we saw the early screening version.
I think that's a separate thing, but actually, I heard that like the numbers for that was like a 3 million. So it's like 3
Okay.
million on top of this 53 million,
So possibly we're looking at $56 million.
probably.
That's not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That's really good
Yeah.
for an opening.
Yeah.
Gosh, that movie's so good. I want to go see it again. I've been thinking about it since we
I can
we
wait.
saw it.
I loved it, but I don't like going to the movies twice.
I really liked it. Like we've already exhausted that topic
Yeah,
extensively. Shazam's great. We all think you should go see it. You should all go see Shazam in theaters right now.
One thing I've found to be interesting regarding Shazam is the international numbers, or
I haven't seen
specifically,
these.
I believe China's numbers are very low.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I just had I read weekend gross. The total gross is actually 56,775,000.
That's a message, but I think internationally, because China also opened on that same weekend, and it was only like 100 million, which is actually very low.
Wait, did you say 100 million?
Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
100 million for I think it's not just China, but like internationally overall, that's very low.
Well, the
for
53
international
million
numbers.
was just
That's just
US,
domestic.
right?
That's
Oh,
just
okay.
America.
Yeah, that's very low for China. I was about to
Yeah.
say, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very low. You know, I remember earlier in the week, just for the heck of it, I was looking up Venom's numbers.
Mhm.
That movie made like $800 million, and 500,000 of it came from internationally.
Yeah.
Or something. It was something along those lines, and I was like, "What the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck is this? Like, the money is in the international releases,
Yeah.
clearly. So if it's not doing that well in China, that saddens me.
I guess it just doesn't really have a whole lot of like crazy spectacle type of thing, because it's like you have Venom, which is like crazy CGI type of shit, and then you have Aquaman, which I believe did huge numbers in China.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because that isn't really a CG heavy movie. Shazam. It's not really that.
No, it's a lot more character driven, which I guess maybe it just didn't relate to a lot of Chinese audiences because it's about American kids and about the struggles that American kids go through. So it might just be like a cultural disconnect.
That could be it right there. What do you see on there? I see you.
Oh, I
Eagerly
was just
waiting.
reading the other box office hits here.
Oh, what else we got?
Number 2 is Pet Sematary 2019,
Because there was like a 1980s
which is
version of
it's a great
Pet
movie.
Sematary.
I love it.
You saw that one?
No, I own the original.
Oh, you own it.
I
haven't
own the
seen this
original.
movie. I'll have to watch
It's
it.
kind of sad. There's a point that I was like, oh, but it's a good movie. Total gross was 25 million. Budget was 21 million.
Well, they're doing fine.
They already met their budget.
They
Yeah.
met their quota.
Number 3 is Dumbo 2019.
Do you care?
I don't think a lot of people cared. And
How low is
it
this?
sounds like people
I don't
don't
care.
76,271,489.
Apparently, a lot of people care.
And it had a
Oh.
budget of 170.
That's the
Whoa.
thing. And when did this come out? It's not this weekend, but it's like last weekend.
It was last week. This weekend's gross was 18 over
Only
18. Yeah,
only
around
18 million.
Yeah.
So that was like a big drop off.
I hear there's a mixed review. Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about this. It doesn't. I never wanted live action Dumbo. I still don't want live.
It looked
action
weird.
Dumbo. Yeah, seeing it, I don't.
Yeah.
Number 4, sorry, is Us.
The
Okay.
Jordan Peele movie.
Yes.
That looks
total.
sweet.
Wow. Look at that number.
Okay.
Wait, what's his number?
Total gross $152 million.
Holy shit!
That is really high for a horror movie.
Its
That's
budget
very
was
high.
$20 million.
We need to talk to this guy. Hey, man.
Well, he also did the
return on
Twilight
investment.
series. Apparently, he's in.
The Twilight
Yeah,
Zone.
but apparently the other.
Well, Twilight Zone.
The
Sorry, let me
Twilight
correct.
Zone.
Twilight Zone.
don't confuse the two.
The Twilight.
Yeah, sorry. Correction. Twilight Zone.
Now I just imagine like the Twilight movie posters, but instead of Jacob on the front, it's Jordan
What's
Peele's
number
face.
5? Oh,
Okay.
Captain Marvel.
Okay, I'm seeing here. Yeah, you see right here. It says 1, so it's like after the first week.
Yeah.
So 2, that means like Us has been around for
2.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel has been around for a month. This weekend is just $12 million, but that
Just 12.
That
I'd
just-
love
that
to
just
have
adds
12
up-
million.
that adds just a little bit to the $370 million it made domestically,
Oh, you know.
which is pretty damn good.
That is pretty good.
What?
What's 6?
Oh, the best of enemies
Best of Enemies.
With-
Never heard of it.
of $4.5 million, which is kind of a
That's
disappointment
pretty disappointing.
We're only going to read up to 10.
considering
Yeah, let's
that
not go any farther.
that its budget is $10 million. So,
They're
and
not happy.
and it'll only go down from there because it's like everyone's gonna wait for Endgame.
Yeah, like I mean, movie tickets are because everybody who wants to see Endgame, they want to see it in a premium theater. At least I think everybody's
Or-
gonna want to see it in like 3D
Or period. That's just gonna be like the big thing that everyone's gonna.
Everybody's gonna go see it.
Did you
Yeah.
hear that with Endgame, people are selling their tickets for $10,000?
Whoa, which ticket do I need to get? Do I need to put some tickets on eBay right now? Because
You-
I got some spares.
How many do you have?
I got yours.
I've already paid you. I've already paid you for my ticket. Thank you
I'll
very
pay you back plus a little bit extra if this ticket makes me some extra money. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
don't
the
be
bidding
dumb
has
enough
started for
and
Cameron
buy-
Messer's Endgame
Don't
ticket.
spend 10,000 on a ticket,
The
guys.
bidding is starting at $23.50.
It'll be on Netflix. It'll be on Netflix.
$23.50. Place your bets. You mean Disney Plus? We don't talk. We don't use
$1,000 for
word
tickets.
here.
It broke the internet.
It's really good. Do you have any tickets?
I,
yeah,
you
yours.
know what's sad?
motherfucker.
You know what's sad? I immediately thought when I bought these tickets, I was like, you know what? Shit, I should probably buy some more insurance.
You know,
So-
I avoided telling you that until I paid you for the ticket.
I haven't accepted it yet. I can deny it and still sell your ticket.
Go, fine. I'll just wait till Netflix. It's okay.
I still hold all the cards.
Why don't we do this? I have an idea.
No.
Why don't I sell your ticket, make $10,000, give you $5,000, you go take it out in cash, and offer somebody on the day of release $1,000 for their Endgame ticket.
I got a great idea.
You make
sell it
money,
For
I'll make money.
You sell it for 10,000. You give me 5,000. I'm happy. So if you want to buy a ticket,
Like I said, tickets are for sale now. Please.
I'd love to have an extra $5,000.
If you live in the Atlanta area, I don't know if this does this stuff actually
We
work?
only accept cash.
I kind of want to check eBay. I
Oh,
really
just to,
Do it.
just to see what
You know, I'm gonna check eBay right now and see. I'm just gonna look up Avengers
just to
tickets.
see what Endgame tickets are. I don't know how well that works for most people. I'm pretty sure I heard that working.
I want to know who has $10,000 just to blow on a ticket.
Yeah, was it even like an IMAX screening? Do we know?
What ticket did you get? Was it IMAX?
We're gonna go see
one we're
this
going
shit
to?
in IMAX.
Yeah, we're seeing it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Um,
Avengers Endgame.
I'm sure people had tried this when The Force Awakens was coming out.
Yeah.
That was like the most anticipated movie.
Holy
in, like, the last
shit! I
couple
look up
years.
Avengers Endgame ticket. The first thing that comes up is $800. Oh, it's a sponsored link. Never mind.
2,000.
Avengers
1,000.
Endgame movie marathon. What the fuck?
Oh, so they're apparently.
Oh, they're in New
No.
York. They're doing that.
Well,
right?
so apparently in New York, AMC is doing a 54-hour long.
It's like 59. I saw
hour-long marathon.
Can you see it for free with A-list?
Whoa, hold on.
Get your
No.
money's worth, $20, and
probably
you can
not.
see.
But my
the-
thing
get
is,
caught
people,
up.
why go spend that money? Just go and, you
don't
have it. It's gonna be on freaking Netflix.
Disney Plus.
You don't
Yeah,
even
Disney
need to
Plus.
see
You don't need
and
to.
all of this.
I did
stuff
see a chart on
anywhere.
Facebook on how to watch the movies, apparently, to make this whole all make sense. Put all the story
Yeah, you
together.
watch Avengers 1, you watch Avengers 2, and then you watch
No,
Avengers
all
3.
the current released movies. You're supposed to watch them in a specific order.
Order of release. Order of.
And they don't. No, it's not order of release. Actually,
Like,
Are you talking like
chronological order?
chronologically?
no.
Yeah, what the?
Let me
Who
Google
the hell
this.
made this person the authority on how you should watch the MCU? What are the qualifications? I want a resume.
Can you hold the mic?
The qualifications evidently are not taking a shower.
Yeah,
'Cause
'cause 59
God,
hours.
God damn, just like sitting in a theater for
I don't
like
even know. Movie theaters
Mhm.
already suck.
more than 3 hours.
Ugh.
That sounds really exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wanted to binge the Marvel movies beforehand too, but Jesus, by the time I'd hit Thor, I'd be like,
Thor, by the time I hit like Iron Man, I probably just
you see Iron Man 1, you're like, yep, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, all right.
Up, going home.
I'll go through the list.
What's this list here?
All
The
right,
de
so
facto
this isn't the
MCU list?
original list I found, but this one is from AMC. How to watch the movies before Endgame in order: Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, The Avengers, Thor: Dark World, Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Iron Man 3, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, The Avengers: Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Captain America: Civil War, Black Panther, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Doctor Strange, the last Thor movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers: Infinity War.
Really?
Yep, that's the order according to AMC.
I think the only part of the timeline that made sense to me is
I
like,
felt like there was more movies.
That's a lot of fucking movies.
I
Cameron.
mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of movies, but once you realize each of them are at least 2 hours long,
that's a lot of movies.
that adds up.
We should have a marathon Cameron style.
No,
No,
we're not doing that.
no, hell no.
Cameron style marathons is what you get up early.
You have
crack
to
of
watch
dawn.
all of them in one day.
Fuck that. If we're gonna marathon anything like that, it's gonna be the DCEU because there's like 4 movies.
It's probably a lot easier.
a lot more
Well,
feasible here.
Would it be a lot easier though? Because some of them
No.
are fucking dour.
I mean, I watched BVS last week.
But would you watch like Man of Steel after that?
Probably not.
Because Batman vs Superman is unnecessarily depressing. On top of
Which one?
Batman vs Superman, and then
It's
on
so
top
bad.
of
It's
Man of
not
Steel.
bad.
trying to
The
be
only
like
good thing about it
depressing.
is it had Christopher Nolan attached to it.
Well, if the movie's bad, does it matter? If you think the movie's bad,
I mean,
Wait,
if
what?
you're trying to,
if you think the movie's bad, then what does it matter that Christopher Nolan was attached?
Because he's a genius.
Well, clearly he couldn't
was
fix
executive
Batman v
producer.
Superman in your
How
eyes.
much like influence he had, I had no idea. But it was better just because he was attached.
I want to see the unaltered script before Nolan got on.
I have
I'm
it.
pretty sure.
I'm joking. I don't have that one. I have the shooting draft.
Pretty sure he just said, "Oh, it's got Batman in it." Yeah,
I'm
I want
pretty
the
sure
royalties.
Warner Brothers just like gave him the credit because they were like, "You did us a favor with the Dark Knight trilogy,
Yeah.
so we're just gonna give you all that money from this movie."
That's probably exactly how it happened. And then he was like,
Oops.
oh, "Okay, great. Well, you want to send me the script, and I'll read it eventually."
Did you guys see the new
Yeah, I'll get to it.
When I
Jo-
feel
did
like
you
it.
guys
I'm gonna make Dunkirk.
Did you guys see the Joker trailer?
Fuck, I haven't.
Oh,
Oh.
it's the Joker story I've been wanting. And thought at first, I was like, oh no, don't bring Joker back. It's been too soon since we lost Heath.
No, it's been a decade.
Too soon. But then I realized when I saw this, I was like, okay, because I had doubts when I saw the first makeup as well. I was like, we just had Jared Leto
like
do
a
it.
traditional clown.
I didn't like the Jared Leto one. I was like, this is gonna be bad. And then I saw the trailer and I said, I've been wanting to know how this Joker was come to be. You know how he
because
became
they never explained the Joker's origins.
No, it
in
was
comics.
dump him. And I kept seeing these people would make these memes. They were like, oh, and was it 89?
Batman 1989.
Yeah, 1989. They're like, oh, to make the Joker, throw him in a chemical batch, right? And this one, throw him into society. And I was like, huh, that makes a lot of sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by
The
Baths.
Joker.
Turn yourself into a soup.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I want tickets now to see this Joker movie.
We can cut
we
that
do
out.
that in post.
We
but
can
like,
cut that in
okay.
post. I just wanted to do that.
I was just
that was
be
for
like,
fun.
oh, what?
That was just for
Alright.
fun. No.
All right, we're gonna skip that whole recording session. Okay.
Oh no.
But
I loved it. Like it seemed like he realistically went crazy. You know, it wasn't because
did
of
you see this
chemicals.
trailer?
I saw the trailer.
Shit,
When
I
they
should've
when they
seen
did
this
the whole
trailer.
like makeup test, I thought it was like a little more promising because it felt like a huge improvement over Jared Leto's Joker.
Well, anything is.
And well, anything is, yeah. But it's interesting to see, like, it kind of feels like two halves of these movies. I mean, this is all judging from the trailer. Like, the first half seems to be more of like an art house type of exploration.
Yeah, very art
about
housey.
Mental illness and about how society just kind of like, just kind of like puts down someone and just like how far
It looks
can
very
that go.
dark. You know.
The other half is like when the whole Joker persona seems to kick in, and it seems a little more, a little Nolan-esque,
Right.
which I find to be an interesting contrast. I don't know how well it will work in like the actual movie, but that's the one thing I've noticed, looking at the trailer.
Is he attached?
No,
project?
no.
But you know who was at one point? Martin Scorsese.
Oh snap!
Yeah. And it
It
is
was
very
influenced.
interesting.
Apparently, there was I didn't read the article, but there's an article where Martin Scorsese had influenced this film.
Not just influence, but apparently at some point he was actually a producer of this movie. But I think
Oh wow!
But I think he jumped off of it. But yeah, the influence of Martin Scorsese is very felt. It is felt in some of these shots in the trailer, because a lot of them, people on Twitter have made comparisons between Joker and like Taxi Driver.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Taxi Driver is a fantastic film if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and with those comparisons, I can kind of see what they're doing with this whole. This person is mentally deranged, and he has a sort of mental illness, and how he sort of responds to society, kind of like a little bit of a Travis Bickle.
Well, what's
type
also
of thing.
interesting
this
is
is
that
already sounding.
both of the
promising.
actors knew each other. Both Heath Ledger and the current actor who's playing
Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Joker have worked together and knew each other.
I'm sure they
Very
talked
interesting.
about this. with each
And
other back in
I
the
saw
day.
I should have shared it, but there was this photo of Heath Ledger's Joker behind the current Joker, and it just said, "Go get them, brother." And I really, when I had saw the Suicide
That sounds like a
Squad,
t-shirt that they'd sell on one of those.
I
Facebook
totally buy
ads.
it. But it was one of those things when I saw this trailer, I said, "There's hope," because the last good Joker we had was
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, nobody will ever top Heath Ledger." Well, nobody's tried, really.
yeah.
You know what
I used to think no one would top Jack Nicholson.
See, here's the thing about.
And I love Jack
In
Nicholson because
live
he's
action.
Copy.
Jack Nicholson in terms of the the
In
early
terms of,
ones.
like cinema.
Well, they're just very
Jokers.
different takes.
Right. I mean, the Jack Nicholson is the comic style.
He's a comedian.
He's the comedian. Heath Ledger is the psychopath,
Heath
Yeah,
Ledger.
Jack Nicholson is
criminal type, and I feel like this is going to be more psychological. You know.
Psychological. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be more like, I feel like this one is going to be more like a thriller, where Heath Ledger's was more of a criminal.
I think there's a line in The Dark Knight where he even says, "This is what happens when an unstoppable force representing Batman meets an immovable object.
Right.
The Joker. He was more of an ideal. This is more, from what you guys are telling me, it sounds like
This has an actual person.
exactly. It's not about the Joker representing an ideal.
No.
It's a scenario.
This
of
is
how a
what's
person
created
could
the
react.
Joker. And what I've liked is the fact that you hear there's no Batman so far. We have no idea if there's even going to be a Batman. I hope
there will be a Batman.
Well, what I'm hoping is that
Once
doesn't
they
take
figure out the
center
cast.
stage. You know?
No, it should.
Because I feel like once you enter Batman and then you start following Batman versus the Joker. And this is about the Joker and what society has done to create the Joker.
I mean, I have a hard time seeing how they cannot incorporate Batman. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they're gonna talk about Batman, but I think at least halfway through the movie they got to bring in Batman. At some point.
I would hope that what the filmmakers do is kind of do what Marvel does, where they'll bring him in the end credits.
Apparently, this movie is just a standalone thing.
Perfect.
It's not
That's even
connected
better.
to the DCEU. Yeah.
To me, it's like a thriller. I kept saying, man, I want a story that shows how the Joker was truly created. You know, what caused him to be like this.